Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Workplace Conflict Podcast, where we talk about the concerns and problems in the workplace that we receive from our listeners. Today, we have a very interesting topic. Have you ever felt lonely or discouraged when you first got promoted to a managerial position? Well, Thomas Green, one of our main characters today, has just got promoted 7 months ago, and right now his job is in danger. Thomas is very concerned with his current situation, and that's why he wanted to share his concern with us. Thomas is currently working at a company called Dynamic Displays. Dynamic Displays is founded in 1990 as a provider of self-service options to banks via ATMs. In 1994, they launched the Travel and Hospitality Division and deployed their first self-service check-in kiosk for Discover Airlines. In 2007, the Travel and Hospitality Division has 60% market share with over 1,500 self-service kiosks in use at more than 75 airports. In 2007, 80% of the division's revenue came from airline carrier clients, 15% from hotels, and 5% from car rental agencies. The benefit with Dynamic Displays kiosks is that it not only reduces costs but also improves customer service, shortened passenger wait times, and provided valuable information to travelers. In 2006, it is estimated that the average cost for a passenger to check in through an agent was around $3 versus 14 cents to 32 cents for kiosk check-in. This is because airlines can assign the agents to more value-added tasks by allowing passengers themselves to handle the repetitive tasks. Another growing option is web check-in. It was aggressively promoted by airlines as another self-service option. Web check-in allowed passengers to check in through the internet from a remote location with their computer. It is more cost-saving because the airline did not have to purchase and install a kiosk, and passengers printed their own boarding passes using their own paper. Here we have the organization structure chart for Dynamic Displays. Our main characters today are Thomas Green, Frank Davis, and Shannon McDonald. Here we have some background information about Thomas Green. He graduated from University of Georgia with a bachelor's degree in economics in 2001. Here we also have Thomas' LinkedIn profile, and we can see that he is currently 28 years old. He first started working as an account executive at National Business Solutions in Atlanta for 6 years. Then he joined Dynamic Displays as an account executive in the Travel and Hospitality Division in March 2007. Then he was promoted to Division's Senior Market Specialist for the Eastern region of North America in September 2007. Frank Davis graduated from New York University in 1986 with a bachelor's degree in history. Then he graduated from Sawyer Business School in 2002 with an executive MBA. Before joining Dynamic Displays, he worked as a sales representative for Advanced Telecommunication Service selling PBX phone systems. Then he started working at Dynamic Displays since 1990 for 17 years. He first started working as an account executive with the Financial Services Solutions Division. Then he also held positions as an account executive, market specialist, and senior market specialist with the Travel and Hospitality Division. He is currently the marketing director for the Travel and Hospitality Division. Our last main character is Shannon McDonald. Shannon holds a bachelor's degree in marketing from the University of Georgia, and she graduated from Northwestern Kellogg School of Management with an MBA. Shannon was the director of national sales for the Travel and Hospitality Division from 2000 to 2006. Then she was promoted to Division VP in November 2006 and is responsible for all aspects of the travel and hospitality business. She has also held positions as a strategic consultant and as a marketing analyst.
Our main problem, which we will be discussing today, is that Thomas' dream promotion has turned into a disaster. His boss, Frank, had sent the division VP, Shannon McDonald, 2 emails criticizing Thomas' performance. After analyzing the whole situation with the information provided by Thomas, we conclude the following 5 cases for his failure in his new position. We will now analyze these 5 issues one by one. Thomas' poor performance is due to lack of workplace communication, not following co-workers and directors' requests, and self-centeredness. Thomas had never communicated to his boss Frank about his work schedule and work locations. When Frank needs some information from Thomas, he cannot connect Thomas as soon as possible. This lack of communication can lead to lower productivity since time is wasted on trying to connect with each other. Thomas had never followed others' requests. When Frank requested several reports from Thomas, he never received a good answer from Thomas. Instead, Thomas ignored Frank's request and replied, "What's the value of charts like that? I have the information in my head." This showed how Thomas intentionally refused to follow Frank's requests. This can significantly affect dynamic display's productivity, as these reports can help them with decision-making in the company. Thomas also showed his self-centeredness in his work style. He never considered what would be the consequences of his action or behaviors. He openly opposed Frank's forecast just because he thinks it's impossible, despite the fact that Frank has more experience. He also never considered the consequences of him not following his boss' request on time. Thomas' action will not only damage his relationship with other colleagues, but also affect his team negatively. From looking at a study done by the Harvard Business School on toxic workers, we can see that toxic workers engage in behaviors that are harmful to the organization. In this case, Thomas' poor performance is harming the organization. And after studying this paper, we know that toxic workers are often less productive than typical workers in terms of quality. In the long run, these workers are not likely to improve overall organizational performance. This is also the reason why Thomas' job is in danger.
The second cause is that Thomas has been promoted too quickly into a role for which he was not ready for. Thomas does not have necessary experience to be successful in his new position of senior market specialist. He ignores his weakness and does not seek advice from other managers. Thomas obviously was not the right fit for the job. The role needs a leader who will support the strategic goals, which will lead to the growth of the organization. However, Thomas has only worked it for 7 months at Dynamic Displays. He lacks of managerial experiences. Also, Thomas will have to coordinate between different layers of corporate management. However, he does not have any experience with that. When a manager cannot perform well in his position, the whole division will be affected. While Thomas' weaknesses has been stated out, he didn't try to work on his inadequacies. However, he only focuses on his work and avoids receiving negative comments from his boss. At this point, Thomas is only avoiding the conflict between him and Frank. Avoiding cannot help with the issue in the long term. Thomas should realize his own weaknesses and try to work on improving himself. McDonald decided to promote Thomas because she was impressed by Thomas' perspective on certain opportunities. She didn't warn Thomas about his weaknesses. McDonald hoped that Thomas would compensate for his lack of experience by seeking advice from managers. However, Thomas never took time to talk with other managers. Eventually, his unwillingness to learn from other managers made him not competent for this position. Becoming the Boss is an article written by Linda A. Hill. She explained that new managers should never be alone in their positions. They should ask for guidance from other managers. The experience a manager has over time will provide support for new managers. In this case, Thomas should take time to ask for advice from other managers to make up for his lack of experience. However, he didn't meet with other managers and therefore doesn't have necessary information for this position.
Thomas also does not respect his authority and their work style, as he doesn't put any effort to cooperate with Frank and does not communicate with Frank in a proper way. Thomas does not take the time to cooperate with Frank's work style. Thomas never keeps Frank updated about his work schedule. This makes Frank hard to contact Thomas. Thomas also ignores requests and comments from Frank. He has missed submission of several reports which were requested by Frank. Thomas must work on Frank's request immediately. Thomas's neglecting behavior could lead to low productivity between Thomas and Frank. When Thomas was being advised by Frank about his performance, Thomas failed to find the right way to communicate with Frank. Instead, he tried to avoid Frank and talk behind his back.
He was criticizing Frank's work style to other managers. Grapevine communication is not the right way to communicate, and it does not resolve the issue. In the article Examples of Employer and Employee Conflicts, Lainey Peterson explained several causes of conflict. We found that the causes for the conflict are personality clashes and performance issues. Friction can happen when people have different personalities. Frank is a teamwork person, while Thomas is an independent person who likes to work alone. Performance issues can also lead to conflicts. Thomas does not care about little things like updating the calendar when Frank thinks he should be aware of his employee's schedule for better contact. These differences eventually lead to conflicts. Thomas showed a negative attitude, no excitement for work, no autonomous motivation. The negativity arises when Frank is holding firm with his forecast. Thomas feels like everyone is opposing him, so he openly challenged Frank during the meeting and called out on Frank's forecast being impossible to achieve. Frank has held Thomas's position before, and he also has more managerial experience. Therefore, Thomas's opposition clearly upsets Frank. This negativity is not what a team needs and will affect the team's productivity adversely. Because of the conflict between Thomas and Frank, Thomas's motivation is lower and his mood becomes terrible. While Frank is trying to communicate about their problems, he only feels that Frank is biased. This makes Thomas think that Frank wants to get rid of him, which develops a negative attitude. With no motivation and bad performance feedback, Thomas eventually loses excitement for his job. According to the paper, the effect of causes of poor attitude to work among workers, written by Basilu Suleiman, this paper states that poor motivation is one of the main causes of negative attitude at work. Workers with negative attitude will have lower productivity on an organizational level. In this case, when Thomas is experiencing a negative attitude at work, it not only impacts his own productivity, but also impacts the whole organization negatively.
After the second meeting, Thomas also realized that he hasn't paid much attention to the office politics. He has no connections and allies. He also engaged in grapevine conversation to criticize Frank's management. These are examples of negative office politics. Office politics is a crucial part in a manager's career success. Forming good relationships up and down can help with becoming a respected leader. However, Thomas hasn't put any effort into forming good relationships with others, which makes him have no allies in the company. Thomas also felt like it is not worth devoting his time and effort in a team where his voice can't be heard. This kind of mindset is harmful to the organization. To make matters worse, Thomas engages in informal talks with the other managers regarding Frank's management and work style. He intensifies the conflict by seeking support from others who are not in his team, strengthening his belief of the unrealistic projections but not finding a common ground in the team. Grapevine conversation like this will only make matters worse. In the article 6 Types of Office Politicians and How to Handle Them by Business News Daily, the author discussed negative politics. In this case, Thomas is considered as a saboteur. Saboteurs work only to benefit themselves. They openly criticize others and ignore their mistakes. These are very similar to Thomas's behavior. One of the ways to deal with saboteur is to talk to the authority, which is what Frank did. He emailed the division vice president to explain the conflict. The consequences of these causes are that Thomas's job is in jeopardy. This conflict will also harm the relationship between coworkers. This bad hiring decision also affects the organization's productivity. The issue between Thomas and Frank has shown us some problems associated with organizational behavior. Task conflicts and process conflicts are found between Thomas and Frank. According to the Thomas-Kilmann conflict model, Thomas has chosen avoiding, and the conflict hasn't been resolved. Next, moving on to motivation. Hierarchy of needs states that belongingness needs have to be satisfied in order to acquire higher order needs. In this case, Thomas's belongingness needs are not satisfied. His other needs also can't be fulfilled. The power that we individuals could possess affects our behavior over our job position. For example, legitimate power, reward power, expert power, referent power, and coercive power.
While they are complex among Thomas and Frank, there are several recommendations that can ease the tension. Dynamic displays can adopt a 360-degree feedback system. While dynamic displays are only having performance feedback from seniors, Thomas thinks that Frank's intention is to get rid of him, and he's not aware of his own problems. With the adoption of 360 feedback, the specialist and client can reflect the situation of client's demand for hard data to back up the claims. Then Thomas will be more aware of his mistakes and make corrections. Dynamic displays can also implement a management training session to managerial level employees. Adopting management training before employees start to work can avoid confusions, and employees will be clear of their job expectations. They can also practice communication and management skills. With appropriate training, Thomas can learn more practical managerial skills and communication skills for better cooperation. Additionally, McDonald, Thomas, and Frank should hold a meeting and talk face-to-face to eliminate bias and misunderstandings. In the meeting, they could have an arrangement on a common working style and build trust. For Thomas, he needs to improve his managerial skills and marketing knowledge to win trust from boss and co-workers. However, if Thomas and Frank can act differently in the past, it may lead to a different ending. By not promoting Thomas or dismissing him, there will be no disagreement on working styles and poor decision-making. Secondly, since McDonald is the person who promoted Thomas, she's responsible for Thomas' work behavior after promotion. McDonald should hold a meeting so that both of them can share their point of views and working styles to make a better agreement before the conflict happens. Thirdly, as the subordinate, Thomas should respect his boss and his working styles to avoid argument. After analyzing Thomas's case, we found 5 causes for his failure in the new position of senior market specialist. Firstly, poor performance in his new role. Secondly, he has been promoted too quickly. Thirdly, he does not respect his authority. Fourthly, negative attitude, no excitement for work. Fifthly, the son engaged in office politics and no allies in the company. We also provided some ways to solve the situation. For example, 360-degree feedback, management training, and holding a face-to-face meeting. It is normal for new managers to feel alone, but it is also their job to seek for help, acquire the necessary skills, and cooperate with the authorities. We hope Thomas can realize his mistakes and improve himself. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.